What's up, everybody? We are back. We are back. We are back.
And
Welcome,
another one.
welcome, welcome. This is another episode of Barber Code. I'm here with my girl Coco. It is your boy Z the Barber. What's up, everybody?
We're down here, at the illustrious Forest Park NY Style Barbershop. The one and only, the world renowned. I just love
Renowned.
introducing it like that.
Nah, she's telling facts. She's
Yeah.
telling all facts.
It's in the future. It's done. It's done. You gotta claim it like that. It's
Yeah.
done. We're world renowned.
So anyways, man, tell me what's up, man. It's a lot of things that's moving around the barbershop that I've been seeing as of late that I feel like need to be addressed. And I'm not really pointing out anybody specifically in my shop. It's just, I've been around the shops for a little while. And I've seen a couple of things. So one of the things that really upsets me, I'd say, is I think barbers are not taking the time out of their work weeks to invest in themselves and in their business.
I agree. And I think it's when we think about investing in the business, not in the sense of like marketing and all these things that come with the business on a broader spectrum, but like supplies.
Right.
That's something that I think people don't think about. And even sometimes I don't think about it.
Yeah.
Like it'll be on my mind when I leave the shop, and then I'll come back the next day and I'm like, oh man, I completely forgot to get XYZ. But I do make it a mission to replenish whatever is lost.
Definitely.
But I feel like some people are just not like that.
Yeah, I feel like, investing in your business overall is something that should be always on your mind, but that's like you said, we forget.
Right.
And just like supply should just be like one of the very first things that you think about. And I think not thinking about those things sort of tells the tale about how you visualize your business. You know what I'm saying? So,
Yeah, that could be said.
yeah, hey, man,
Definitely.
I'm not the one that really goes out and buys my razors. I'm not the one that really goes out and buys my sprays and disinfectants. Damn, bro, you probably not one of those guys that saves your money. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Exactly. Or takes it serious as
Yeah.
a job,
Yeah.
Because when I think about my station and things like that, I do go through and do an inventory. I'm like, hey, I know I used my last roll of paper towel. Hey, I need more barbicide. I just used the last of it. I kind of make a grocery list
Yeah.
because it's important. You do need these things for day-to-day usage. I can't fathom coming into the shop and then completely expecting whatever I'm missing from my station to be available to me by someone else.
Yeah.
It just doesn't sound
Yeah, and
logical.
I'm not against like going to your other fellow barbers and like asking
right.
for a little bit of help, but it should end right there. Like that should be like the red light and be like, okay, cool, I gotta go back and replenish. I gotta restock.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? If I ran out of blades today, I should be thinking about tomorrow having blades stocked up and ready to go instead of me thinking, I'm going to ask Boy for another blade or ask her for another next trip. Or,
right. Continuously asking.
Yeah,
right.
that's too crazy.
And then for me, I'm pretty easygoing with supplies. However, I do go through and collect a little money when I replenish, because before it used to be just something that I constantly did. Like, oh, okay, I ran out of this, I ran out of that. But then I started to see, like, damn, I was barely in the shop and my stuff is gone.
My stuff is gone.
It's like when I'm not here,
I
it's
have
kind
my
of
brush right here. It's over here on this station. Like,
right,
oh,
exactly.
man.
Or it's like I constantly reiterating that I don't want people using my new scissors.
Yeah.
And I keep seeing other people take them. I'm like, these are not the loaners.
Yeah,
the loaners are out there somewhere. I don't know who has them.
And y'all need to
Find
understand
them
that,
loaners.
man. There's different tools, man.
Yes.
We got our professional tools, the one that
Right.
we use. I need my gold. I need my gold shears.
Facts.
That's
Facts.
my gold shears. I need
Right.
my gold thinners.
Right.
Those are mine. Don't touch those.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Right,
Don't
exactly.
touch those.
Because the thing is, like, when it comes time to replace those things, and everybody's looking like, oh, that's yours. Well, it wasn't mine when the community was using it. So
Right.
now I'm going through and I'm getting a little bit from you. And I remember you used it one time. So I'm getting a little bit
Yeah.
from you. Like, hey, we're going to split this down the middle. I don't have a problem with people borrowing my things. But when it comes time to replenishing what's lost, I'm definitely asking for a little scratch.
Definitely.
Because, nah.
And that's another thing. People don't feel like because it's not theirs. They feel like because it's not theirs, they don't have to put in.
Exactly.
Listen, you used it.
Yeah, it is. Sometimes I feel like some of the things on my station might be getting used a lot more than I use them
Exactly.
by other people. So I'm definitely gonna be like, hey, I know that you're the one that's always using my X, Y, and Z. So when it's time to restock X, Y, and Z, I'm gonna need half.
Yeah.
I am going to need it. And it doesn't cost a lot of money, but the fact of the matter is you are using it as if it's yours. So now it's ours.
Yeah.
And we are going to pay.
Yeah. We are restocking.
Right. And we can continue to play that game.
Yeah. But it's definitely a dirty game to play like that because, like everybody, like I said, it's different strokes for different folks.
Right.
Sometimes I'm saying you're going to need all of your available tools for that service, and you can have people coming by your station and picking up things while you're on the move, like during your service. And
Right.
That's not cool.
Yeah, I don't really like that a lot because it's a lot of moving around,
Yeah.
and it's a lot of, hey, you have my this and my that, and
Yeah.
sometimes people don't put it back right away or don't clean it properly. That's a pet peeve of mine.
Definitely, and definitely by state board standard, they come into the barbershop and they expect, or salon, and they expect to see things organized in a specific way. And then,
Exactly.
and then the criteria for which I work or you work might be a little different, and I like my things or you might like your things organized in a
Right.
specific way. And it's not like that when I leave for like work day and come back the next day.
Exactly.
I don't know. It might sound like we were like broken records out here. Like you might have heard this on another episode before, but it's just definitely something that's on my mind that I think people, barbers or stylists,
Yeah.
not people.
And then not even in the sense of like people borrowing things, but just in the sense of as a business owner in this type of scenario or in this type of profession, you have to think about that. That's one more part of your business. Supplies.
Yeah. Supplies.
Inventory.
So definitely
Going
barbers and
through.
stylists need to pay attention
Yeah.
to like what they're investing in and
Right.
how they're investing money, like because
Exactly. Because it seems
we're
like
losing.
yo,
We're losing.
yeah, and it seems like you making a lot of money or you're doing this or you're doing that, but then when you go back, you have to also understand that your profit, what comes from that, this is your profit is after you take out all the things that you need to pay for your booth rent, your supplies, your marketing, all of these things. Then you have your profit. That is what you have to spend and do whatever with. But you need to make sure that you're taking out all of those things first, not last.
Yeah.
Because it just puts you in a bad situation. It's the road you don't want to go on. And it can be really discouraging, especially as a new barber, to just be like, I'm not making any money. But in reality, it's like you are making money. You're just not spending it properly.
Yeah, spending it properly, right. Definitely. And as a new barber coming in too, imagine you were like thrusted into the barber world and now like you have your organized station, you ready to go, you paid attention to what the instructors told you,
Right.
how state board wants you to have your station, and now you got everybody coming to your station. It's kind of like
Yes. It
throwing
does.
off, like
It is, yeah.
throwing off the whole idea.
It really does. And then the thing is, with me being so organized, I immediately know when something's missing.
Yeah.
And it's kind of annoying to have to go back and ask for the exact same thing that I kind of said was not available for you to borrow.
Right.
So for me, it gets to a point where it's like, okay, now I don't want to share anymore, unfortunately.
Yeah, and that's when we become meanies and like, no, don't touch my
Right.
stuff.
And then it's, you know how she
You know what I'm
get.
Exactly. Don't touch your station.
You know how, like, but you know what? I admire that connotation is already set for you. Like they're like, no, I'm not going over there by Z stuff because Z don't want me over there.
Yeah.
And oh my gosh, Z gonna trip.
Right.
I kind of want that. I want them to be like, don't touch Coco stuff because
Yeah,
Coco
100%,
gonna trip.
100%.
But I mean, it's like, hey, because at the end of the day, nobody's touching your shit.
Yeah.
So.
And
Or
again,
they
like,
realize they're gonna have to come up with some money.
Yeah, I'm not against sharing. I'm not against helping out, but don't let it go too far. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Don't become dependent on my station or anybody else's station. You know what I'm saying? Be self-sufficient and save that money and do what you need to do during your work week. Stock up. You know what I'm saying? Organize
Right.
yourself.
Right.
And just be respectful
Exactly.
to
And
your
these.
peers.
Yeah, and this is definitely, of course, these are times when you up that you want to get these things done. Obviously, you're not really going to be thinking about supplies when it's a slow week because you're not really using your supplies. So, but when it is a fast week, you're making the money. So definitely take that, like a small amount out each day or however you decide to, and then go and replenish your supplies because as you use them, obviously, you're going to need to buy more.
Yeah. So get that grocery list set up. You know what I'm saying? All the things that you need, you know what I'm saying? And get down to the beauty supply store or whatever
Right.
like avenue that you use to collect your supplies and make sure those are available to you because So you don't want to be out here stranded, and it definitely looks unprofessional during a service that you migrating around to different stations looking for supplies.
It really does.
You have to really think about how you're being viewed as a business from the consumer standpoint, and all of those different little tidbits, they matter.
I agree. And also, I feel like in the type of situation where you have like your own little shop, you have your own little things to go around and say, hey, I'm using your this or I'm using your that. It kind of takes away from the time. It kind of takes away from all the things. And then even if you don't have it, then it's kind of like it's not as clean as it was before if you don't use, somebody else's tools or what have you. And to be honest, I just don't think certain things should be shared. Because it's like your tools have wear and tear on them.
Yeah.
Eventually, you're going to have to replace that.
Right.
And those can get expensive. So
Right.
you don't want to be a part of using somebody's tools because then when it comes time to replace, like the head on the electric shaver and all these other things, I know you've been using it a lot, So it's only fair to ask, like, hey, what you got on my 40?
Use my stuff.
Right.
Buy it.
Exactly. This is ours now.
So what are some of the favorite tools that you like to use? What is like your favorite tool on your desk, on your station?
My favorite tool right now, honestly, I would say the electric razor is my favorite tool. And then
Electric shaver.
the electric shaver and then the regular razor. Those are my favorite tools because the razor just definitely just makes everything so clean cut. It just takes your line up to a whole different level. And even when you're doing a beard, like just to get those small tiny hairs, it just makes a world of difference. And even underneath the chin, like sometimes I feel like the seats can be a bit difficult to get or comfortably for me to get with the regular razor. So I do like to use the electric shaver underneath the chin and things like that. And that's a very sensitive area anyway. So those are my favorite things to use. To be honest, I do love my clippers. I got the cordless 5-star walls. I like them. I do think they're good. I haven't tried. What is it? The Andes. What are they called? The Masters? Yeah, I haven't tried the Andes Masters.
At all?
No, I've never tried them before, and I'm an Andes person. And I was in the market though, but the walls at the time were the best deal. Because I was just like haggled somebody down to like something crazy, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna get them. But it's the battery life I don't like. I don't like the battery life on the walls.
How long do they last for?
I would say maybe like 2 hours.
Do they run strong all the way to the end?
No. They
What?
don't.
They
I thought they
eventually die
did.
down?
Yes, I thought they did at first. I was experiencing, the initial like just complete use of the motor, and then I felt it like when I plugged it back in, and I was like, oh,
This is real
okay,
power.
right,
Yeah.
exactly. I was like, nah, it's not. It's running off fumes right here, and I could definitely tell when it's about to die. That's the only thing. It lasts maybe like 2 hours, but.
I think like the real good ones nowadays are lasting about 3 hours now. So
Okay.
you're not too
Well,
far
it's not
off.
too bad. Okay.
But they are running strong all the way to the end. Like you're getting full power all the way to the end.
But I've been thinking about getting the babeless.
Yeah?
Yeah, I
Now
really
the
have.
babeless is dope.
Based off your recommendation,
Yeah.
there's a lot of people that use them
Yeah.
that do really good haircuts. And to be honest, I mean, it's really all about the technique more than it is about the clippers. But now that I kind
I
of got
must say, I have to cut you off though.
what?
It is about the technique, but I don't think anybody is good without having good tools.
Oh, right,
You know what I'm
right.
saying? You need
Well,
good tools.
I don't know, cause
Like you don't know what I'm saying is you don't need good tools to do good work, but having good tools definitely helps the process.
Oh, definitely,
Because
yeah.
if you're using home tools, for instance, like anything that's delegated for the home, they probably sell it in Walmart or somewhere, and you're not getting the same quality as, say, for instance, like the Andes Master versus like an Andes Home product.
Exactly.
Definitely, just it's not the same.
Yeah, it's definitely
same.
not. Or it just takes too long to get
Yeah,
the exact
yeah.
same effect. Because I did have
Yeah.
some home clippers that I started out with, and I definitely perfected my temp fades with that. I definitely learned how to fade with those. But then I noticed that I needed to get better products after I got good. I was just like, this isn't going to work.
Yeah.
It's taking me way too long. And, it's cutting into this, that, and the other. I just knew I needed better clippers. But yeah, I am thinking about the Babyliss. I heard they were really good. I heard the motor is good. And don't they come with a full set of clips?
Yeah, it come with a full set of clips. The Gold FX,
I'm
full
sold.
set.
I'm sold.
Yeah.
And
That's
they're good
official.
clips, though.
It's official.
Because a wall, the only thing I don't like is they come with like these weird plasticky clips.
Yeah.
And they don't like to stay. I really like the magnetic clips that Andy's has. Those are kind of dope.
I don't know if Babyliss has the magnetic clips yet.
I mean, as long as they hold,
No,
though.
they hold beautifully.
Yeah, as long as it's a nice, like, snap in or something like that. Because I think for walls, they have, like their zero. I haven't been able to find a good zero clip. Like, all of them are the same. They always have that weird plasticky one that kind of wears away. And I'm just like, where's a good zero?
Yeah, if I could think about my favorite, it'll always be like the faders, like I'm saying Andy's Masters or the Babyliss Gold FX. It used to be like the rotary engine, the rotary motored clippers, like Andy's 76s. Excuse me, I said Andy's 76s. The Andy's BGRCs or the Ulster 76s.
I knew he was going to say Ulster, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Those are official.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of people use
And
Ulster.
fading with those to me was official too because, you know what I'm saying, you can siphon through the different clips and they're like, those clips are precise.
Right,
You know
and
what I'm
yeah, I really like the Ulsters.
But like the downfall to that is like you constantly have to pop off a clip, put it on, pop off a clip, put it on. You know what I'm saying?
But I mean, it's part of the process.
No, it's part of the process, 100%.
Right.
But if you can use a fader and get the same finish, and you're moving like way faster, more efficient, you know.
That's true. Because I mean, even with the technique that you use anyway, it's fast.
Right.
It's faster, so it's like just a small little like touch up.
Plus
and you're
the
good.
fader, you know what I'm saying, has the different levels in between, and you know the Ulsters or the BGRCs doesn't have that.
yeah.
So with every weight line that you take out, it's always going to be a new clip. Always going to be a new clip.
That's true.
Unless you're doing like the one blade fade, and you know what I'm saying, you're taking it up, and your technique is right.
Have never achieved.
What?
I've never even tried to do a one blade fade before.
I
just never thought that was possible.
I'd say try it. No, it's definitely possible. 110% possible.
Slay.
I learned it from my boy Ralph. Yeah, what's good, Ralph?
That's crazy. I feel like there's always like a newfound just level of barberhood that I reached. I'm like,
my boy
okay,
Ralphie. I learned that from
I
him.
got my little blade fade technique. I'm out here killing the game. We're good. I got my fades down like 30 minutes, and I was like, level 2.
Yeah.
Can you do this?
Nah, it's definitely different techniques. You know what I'm saying? Everybody got their own style. And you know, like I said, I pulled some of that from my homie when I seen him do that, and he was doing like fades in record time.
Right.
And I just couldn't understand, like, bro, we started to fade at the same time. Granted, he was like a few years ahead of me, you know what I'm saying, in the barbering game, so obviously he knew a little more than I did. But to see that, I was just like, whoa, bro, like, I need to learn that.
I have to probe your brain more on that because I'm like a one blade fade.
It's a one
Come
blade
again.
fade, like, yeah. And you can take, I can use the half all the way up and get like a real blend. You know what I'm saying?
That's
and I might
interesting.
use like maybe the one,
What is
not
it?
like the 2 or the 3 at the top just to
Right.
like blend it out.
What is it, just going from closed to open?
No, open blade with no clip on it and just fading it out right up.
I don't know.
Skipping so many different
Oh,
clips.
okay. That's so
Like
interesting.
with the one blade fade, look at me go. The one blade fade.
Say it 3 times fast.
Right, a little bit. The one blade fade can probably knock out maybe like 3 clips. Like what? You don't have to use 3 clips. I can just.
I'll have to see you do this.
Yeah.
Maybe it's like a flicker wrist type of thing where it's like
Super.
you're not as close to the scalp or something because
Like you're relying heavily on the
I'm going to be
C-stroke
like,
technique.
oops, I drug my line up.
Yeah,
Like-
it can get dangerous. Out
Yeah.
there. It can get dangerous.
I'm
But
like,
when I
oh.
learned that one blade fade, it sort of tightened up my ability to fade overall. So when I started using that technique and then incorporating all of the proper clips throughout the fade, my fade got impeccable. Impeccable. Like I can.
Now you
Any
got my
texture
brain
of hair.
working.
Any texture of hair, it doesn't matter. Like, you know what I'm saying? It just made the process so much more approachable to me.
I'm going to have to see this.
Yeah,
in
100%. I'm
person.
going to show you that. And when I show you that, it's going to change your whole
fade.
game. You're going to
Right.
get faster. Fades are gonna get cleaner. Blurry fades. Yeah,
Okay, one
it's
blade
official.
fade for my next trick.
One blade fade. One blade fade.
The one blade fade.
Word. That was a tongue twister for a second.
Right, it is though.
Yeah. But learn that. Definitely learn that. Get on that.
Okay, I'm about to get on my Googles.
Nah,
YouTube one
I mean,
blade
you can probably
fade.
Google it. You can probably Google it. It's probably out there nowadays.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I would be able. I'm still gonna want to see it firsthand anyway. So, like, whenever in the shop that comes about,
Yeah.
I definitely want to be present.
Majority of the time,
I'm
like,
always-
if you
yeah.
ever see me fading, that's the approach I'm always taking. Like, so you've probably seen
You
it
know-
already and just didn't acknowledge it.
Right, I was just about to say that. I think one time I saw you going up with just one blade, and at the time, I think he says like something different about it, like, "Oh yeah, I could just like fade with just the one blade or something like that, something to that nature." And I was like, "What?" Like, "Oh, okay." And then just
Yeah. Sometimes it might escape people, like, one blade fade. Like, what is he talking about? But then when you see it, it's like, holy crap, bro. Yeah, when I saw that, I was
Interesting.
dumbfounded. I was just like, this dude is killing it right now.
I just like, so is it a series of like okay, so going with the grain and against the grain, maybe?
No, it's always approaching against the grain. Same
I'm really
technique,
trying to
like
figure
I
this
said,
out.
but it's like really long strokes.
Oh,
Like
okay.
really long strokes, and your wrist sort of has to stay loose.
Oh, so it's
You know what
kind
I'm
of like you kind of see the line, and then it's kind of like taking the line out, and like say for instance you make a one guide, and then after that you're just kind of like nice like going briskly over it to get the line out, and
Yep.
without taking more hair off, like just really knowing your clippers
Right.
is important.
Right.
Okay.
Like that's
think
what I
kinda
mean.
see
Like
what
if
you're
you
saying.
can fall into dangerous waters. Like
Right.
if you don't understand your clipper, if you don't understand the actual fading technique, like the actual motion of the clipper,
Yeah.
or like how your wrist is supposed to be positioned,
Right.
holding the clipper properly. Like if you hold the clipper too high, you're not going to get a proper flick of the wrist. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Like I put it backward a bit, so to like extend the front of it, so I have enough like rotation in my
Right.
wrist. And,
A
you know
full
what I'm saying?
C stroke.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the weight differential in the front of the clipper is just going to like lend its ability to the fade. You know what I'm
Right,
saying?
exactly. Okay, I think I got you.
Yeah.
I think I can kind of.
But yeah, we're going to get further
Yeah,
than that.
right,
and see
right,
what
right.
that is. We gonna
I
go
might
to the-
try it on my
Yeah, we're
brother
going
or
to get to the
something.
trenches. Really like show you that.
Right. Oh, I need to practice
The
that.
one blade fade is definitely an advanced technique, and definitely going to advance you in the game, or anybody else out there who want to take that chance. Not to really take a chance. I don't want to say it like that, like it's like
Yeah. I would
anything
say,
negative, you know. But
right. Enlighten yourself.
yeah,
You know,
enlighten
learn
yourself.
something new.
Maybe I'll make a video about that one day. You know what I'm saying? That'll be something dope. Do like a little Barber Code instructional.
Exactly, like something real quick, like, and now
Yeah,
a little
yeah.
montage, real quick.
Yeah,
I
think-
do like that aspect of
Yeah,
the
yeah.
show. Okay, I see us prospering.
Nah, that's definitely
We'll put that in the
something.
back.
Yeah, in the back
Yeah.
of my mind, like 100%.
Right, that's for later.
Yeah.
I do
But-
like that idea though.
Nah, it's official, right? Like,
Yeah.
see,
And then I also like the idea of me being able to just do so many other things with barbering, because I do love hair, and I love, scissor cutting and coloring and all those wonderful things, and, weaving, braiding, all those things. But I find that barbering is something that I had to definitely work harder on, because it did not come, well, I can't say it didn't come naturally to me, but it was definitely something that I needed, like fading, I should say, was something that I needed to work on more than I needed to work on other things, because it didn't come to me as naturally, because I just was so used to doing female hair. Male hair was not really something that I experienced with until I got to cosmetology school. And then even still, it wasn't along the lines of fading and a true barbershop, because it wasn't something that they taught. They just
Right.
did not teach fading.
how does cosmetology approach the fading concept?
They approach it as they would with scissor cutting.
Okay.
So it's just all a matter of turning the comb and, creating a nice blend. But it was never anything lower than a 1.
For anybody's out there who's confused about the technique of shear over comb, it's in order to get a proper fade, you always tilt the comb 45 degrees off of the scalp. So anywhere you place the comb, the closer or the lesser in degree that you put the comb, the more hair that you're going to cut, and vice versa. The more you extend the comb further over 45 degrees, the more hair you're going to leave. You know what I'm saying? So
Right.
the closer or
The more hair
more
you take
close the
off.
comb is to the scalp, the more hair you take off. Further away,
Right.
the more hair
Less
you
hair you
keep.
take off.
So, yeah.
We're saying the same thing.
100%. Now, see,
Yeah.
but nah, like, I just never understood, like, for instance, like you said, fading is more of a barbering perspective opposed to the cosmetologist. But I know that, you know what I'm saying, males do go to salons. So I just never really completely understood how a cosmetologist would approach that. Because, you know, I hear a lot of guys say they come from a salon, but they're not really getting that tight fade. You know what I'm saying?
Right, exactly. Because I think that the scenario is just for longer hair. I think what cosmetologist is just dealing with longer hair. To barber, I think is just a completely different take on just how you're doing hair. Because ball fades was not something that ever came up. It was just all a matter of leaving on the side, or a 1 up to a 3, just very much like longer hair. And I think especially with hair that's highly textured, especially 4C hair, just cutting and barbering black hair, it definitely was not something that came about in cosmetology,
Yeah.
just because it just took on a different approach and it took different tools. And a barber kit, we did get one, but it wasn't something that we focused heavy on.
Yeah. That sucks, man. I feel like it should all
Right.
be conjoined, you know?
I agree. And it really just, I can't even say it was anything, malicious, but it was just not really covered on state board for
Yeah,
us.
yeah.
So we were like, why teach it?
You know what's crazy? When I went and took my master test, the written exam, it was a whole lot of cosmetology information that I had to answer, and I wasn't even ready for it.
Interesting. That's very interesting. And that's just like on the cosmetology exam, there was a lot of nails on there. And just
Yeah.
yeah, so a lot of things that, because technically it does allow you to do all things. You're like, I can barber, I could do nails, I could do all of that with a cosmetology license. But because it's just the amount of hours that you
Might be
take.
going back to school, y'all.
Yeah, you could do a lot of things with a cosmetology license. But for me, I don't think that barbering was ever considered. It was just like, oh.
what
And I
made you
always
say-
wanted to go to barber school.
Okay.
Yeah, I always wanted to,
I was
and
about
I
to
always
say,
thought that
what
I
made you say
had
you
to
wanna
do
jump
that
into
in
that?
order to be, I always thought that I had to do that in order to be a barber, but then they told me that I didn't have to do that. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. So I could basically just go and learn in an apprenticeship style type of thing at a barber shop and figure it out. And that's pretty much what I did while I was still in school. Towards the end of my graduation, I did work at a barber shop in Beaufort. And that's where I learned how to fade. I definitely learned a lot of things, and everyone was so helpful to me. Like, they were definitely helping me understand how to get faster. I saw like everybody kind of had their own technique for fading, and I kind of just built my own technique from all of those things and all the things that I learned. And then I went from there. I went to a salon, and that's when I was just focusing on longer hair and styling hair. And then I came back here. So it was really nice to just kind of get back to barbering, and I was better at fading. So I was kind of like starting off with a clean slate, but now I had the skill set to build my clientele and to do those things rapidly versus very slowly like I did when I was in school. And also I kind of think I was hesitating because I didn't have a license.
Okay.
So for me, I didn't really want to work that much because of state board issues and all these other things. Even though it was a apprenticeship style, it was not an official apprenticeship. So I just didn't want to make waves. I was so close to graduating and getting my license. I just kind of was like, I don't really want to do it. So I was still, braiding and doing more of that than barbering.
Okay. So I know cosmetologists, like you said, don't focus too much on barbering. So that means like the 14 strokes of shaving, y'all wasn't introduced to.
Right, exactly. Nope,
Okay.
was not introduced to. That was something that I learned in Beaufort.
Nice.
That was something that I learned being at the barbershop
Right.
and getting
Okay.
comfortable with the razor.
Okay, that's what's up. 14 strokes, y'all. Y'all need to get on that too. A lot of people out here shaving improperly, leaving ingrown hairs and
That's
scars on
very
people's faces
true.
because they're not approaching with the proper techniques,
Very true.
preparation-wise.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, there's certain ways you have to prep your client for shaves. You know what I'm saying? And that's something that definitely school is going to teach you. So get out there and get that knowledge.
I agree. And then, I mean, not even just the 14 strokes, but just from start to finish, a shaving.
Yeah.
If you don't do specific things properly, if you're not like going after it with like an astringent or alcohol, like that can cause ingrowns, and just really cleansing the skin. So many things that go into a clean shave. And also, like, just preventing scarring is important. I see a lot of scarring, even in just lineups sometimes. It's like,
Well,
yikes.
yeah, like that lineup scarring, you know, it comes from like either like your blade is too raised over the line, like because it's supposed to meet at 0 point.
Right.
And
on heavy-handed.
Some people might
barbers.
extend it over that point. Oh, they call it zero gap. Excuse me, I said 0 point. But yeah,
They just made it 0 point.
yeah. We were talking about
Right.
0 point.
For all you enlightened individuals out there.
Yeah, we was talking about gravity and black
Right.
holes, but that's a different concept. You know what I'm saying?
Not for this podcast.
Yeah. But they call it zero gapping, and some people extend it over that point, and that's when you start to get scarring on the line and stuff like that.
Yeah, where it gets like really hot, like it's like burning, and also just like zapping, like heavy-handed barbers. It's like you can kind of get more hair off with light-handedness, in my experience.
But that goes into the idea of having good tools. That's what I was trying to tell you.
That's very true.
You can cut hair with like non-professional tools, but the tools that are delegated for profession, like they're set in a manner to where you don't have to do too much physical work. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I learned this from a client when I was shaving him. And I was doing a bald shave. This was back in New York in Levels Barbershop in Harlem. I was fading the back of his head. And I just had gotten out of school not too long ago. So I was fading him, and he could feel on the back of his head that I was just going a little too hard. And he was like, bro, slow down for a second. You don't want to shave me. You want to let the blade shave me.
Right.
So let the blade do most of the work, and you just guide it.
Exactly.
And he was like, just loosen your hand. I mean, I'm learning this from a client. So when he put me on to
Was
that.
he a barber? Right.
I wasn't a barber, just a guy who's been getting his hair cut for a long time.
Yeah.
Like, clients know these, like, techniques or way it's supposed to feel. Like,
That's
they know
very true.
Like, bro, you're not fading me, right? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I mean,
guys tell me
honestly,
that,
yeah.
You know? So he told me, like, let the blade do most of the work. And once I did that, I relaxed my hand and just started more waving opposed to just, like, stroking.
Yeah.
It's just, like, it just turned me up so much. Like, it was way better.
I agree. And I think that's something that I had to really just learn with doing baldy clients and taking that hair off, like going with the grain, all sorts of things, preventing hair bumps. And then I started adding services like, black charcoal, skin cleansing and things like that. Just because I do know that when you have curly hair, ingrowns are something that regardless of lifestyle, you can get. And if you're the type of person where you still have hair on your head and you're still balding it, you can end up with ingrowns. So I just started adding different services to my baldy clients.
Speaking of different services, there's one service that I think that escapes a lot of different barbers and stylists. Like, we are apt in the service of giving facials, facial cleansing.
I agree.
We need to take advantage of that. Number one, there's extra money in your pocket. Number two, clients like the service. You know what I'm saying? Like, clients like it, especially guys who come in who have really irritated skin.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Especially around the neck area and on the cheeks. You definitely want to have a regimen available to help them get through that, because a lot of guys out there just are aimless. They don't have any sense of direction when it comes to healing themselves.
That's very true. Or they really don't have like any type of recommendation for themselves, or they don't wash their face with cleanser. It's just not something that ever occurred to them. So if you do introduce that new way of like taking care of themselves and just kind of raise that standard of living a little bit, they'll definitely see the difference, and then they won't want to go back to what they had. It's like getting fibers.
Exactly.
They get addicted, and it's like, I don't want anything else. I'm willing to pay the extra $5 or whatever it is. I want to look good.
Yeah, and I think facials is something that clients with those type of deficiencies, that's something that they do want to get hooked on, is getting facials and things like that. That's really a help to them.
Right. And then understanding that you are the professional. So you're providing a prescription. You are telling them, hey, this is what something that you need based off of X, Y, and Z. If you feel like a person has easily irritated skin or some of those things, do not deny them, the chance to get a better service because you don't want to ask them
Right.
or you're afraid that they might say no.
Right.
Like, no, please suggest this to them. And then if they don't want it, I mean, they don't want it. But it's your duty to introduce them to
Right.
that higher standard
Right.
where it's like, hey, you don't have to put up with this. This isn't something that you just have to deal with on your face.
Right.
There are ways that you can minimize your bumps. There are ways that you can minimize all the things on your face that come up from shaving so often, especially if it's something that they do at home sometimes.
Will be a benefit to you and your client to offer those extra services. They need it, you need it. This works for everybody, and that separates you from the minor leagues to the big leagues, offering those different services that your clients need.
I agree, and I think it shows that you care more about your client than about the service that they're getting. Because when you bring things like that up, sometimes people can say, I get that a lot, nobody's ever done that before.
Right.
Or this is like so enjoyable, I never thought that it could feel this way.
Right.
I love hearing things like that because it lets me know that I'm thinking beyond just the service. I'm thinking about the client and, what might feel good or what would make the experience better. And hearing those things lets me know that they're not going to get this type of service anywhere else. So they're going to get spoiled and they're going to want to continue to come to me. Or they'll go to, someone else and be like, can you do this and can you do that? And then the other person is just like, where are you getting all these demands from? Right. And that is the standard. That's the thing. That is the standard when they sit in my chair. And I like to set that bar high.
Same. I definitely set the bar high. Definitely offer the services. Definitely try to be a little more creative with how I approach my business. That's
Agreed.
what makes me stand out, I feel, in the industry, and sets me apart from the others.
Facts.
And definitely is going to set
That's
you
Barber
apart.
Code.
Yeah, super Barber Code. That's going to set you apart from your peers, and not necessarily your peers in the shop, just as an individual.
Any other barber or hairstylist out there.
That just makes you different. So
Right.
definitely also pull from people who's out there making headway like that. Like there's definitely people out there who are providing services that I've never seen before. Like I've seen the kid Vic Blends. He's on Instagram, pretty popular. I've seen the way he approached doing waves and like the products that he uses to finish it off and make it lay down. And I was just like, wow, bro, that's just a dope concept. You know what I'm saying? And I'm gonna just pull from that. And like I said, I've been in the game for a few years. You know what I'm saying? And he's been in the game, I think, a little less than me, but a new guy. Teaching the older guys some new tricks.
And I mean, it's so much information out there, too.
Yeah.
So it's like he's probably just downloading in his brain all the information that you had to learn hands-on. So it's like he could scour the internet for new techniques. There's forums out. There's such a huge range of social media, and to use your platform to get input for everybody definitely would catapult you in the game.
Yeah.
Because you're just learning so many different techniques, and then you find this one thing that works, and it's like, hey, this is what after all that I've studied, this is now my technique. And then somebody else is like, I've never seen that before.
Right.
That's dope. I would like to try and see how it works.
That is the dopest aspect of social networking.
Yes.
Like getting that information that's available to you, it's right there, man.
Yes. That's one of my favorite things about social networking and what I really use it for, just exchange of information.
Yeah, I love going around seeing different barbers do different things.
Right.
Even stylists. I watch a lot of stylists.
For me, it's
cut
a stylist
hair, man.
thing.
What? With their scissor
Yeah.
techniques.
Oh, man.
And, put me on to this, all right? The barber technique, right, is we hold it like top side, and we go from the top side. I see a lot of stylists go from the underside. And I probably messed up the microphone.
So,
hold on. It's the underside. They cut like this.
It depends on what side of the head you're on, too.
Yeah?
Because and then what part of the head that you're on. Because on the side there is certain, with certain techniques or with certain shapes that you create, like especially with square layers or something like that, you will be pulling the hair out towards you this way and cutting it like that.
I would still pull it this way.
But the idea is for it to be less strenuous on your body.
Right.
And that's why there's so many different shapes. So you do have this way in which you cut above your hem, but to do this would hurt eventually. So to do this is simply easier
You know how
on the
they
body.
told me to approach it in barber? Just change your footing. foot,
Yeah.
your positioning.
You change your footing and you change your hands.
It's not recommended in barber school that you do it like that.
What?
Yeah, it wasn't. I used to
That
get
sounds like it
shunned for that, like,
hurts. I feel like you would naturally want to do this. This hurts, and
then,
it
like,
puts a lot of strain on
I've been
your
doing it top side
wrist.
for so long that, like,
Yeah.
I tried it under, and it's like sort of itchy on my fingers when I'm passing the shear across.
Oh
I'm
my
like,
gosh,
itches,
yeah, that's crazy. Cause no, the first thing that they really teach us about like cutting or doing hair in general is that you want the longevity out of it. There are people who do this for years and years and years, and you don't want so much wear and tear on your body. The idea is for everything from your anti-fatigue mats to your barber chairs being able to go up and down. All of those things are to protect your body, and so that you can do this for a long time. So things like this. That hurts just doing it. You know,
you're
like,
probably
oh, I
not used
feel
to
it.
it.
I feel the tension
Yeah.
right here.
Nah, like, I'm
Absolutely not.
I'm good.
No, I have to.
Yeah,
When I'm
good.
on that side of the head, I'm doing this, that I have to pull it out this way.
Yeah.
The only time I really do that is when I'm on the top of the head.
Okay.
Or, so like even if I'm on the back of the head and I'm doing some type of angle, I'm definitely pulling it out this way and cutting under
Yeah.
my hand.
That's crazy. I tried it, man, and it was just so uncomfortable to
Really?
the inner
Only
side of my hand.
only time I cut over my hand is when I'm like on the top of the head.
Yeah.
That's the only
You said something pretty dope that I don't think a lot of people caught, like about the chair and its height. A lot of people don't know the proper height that the chair is supposed to be. They say the rule of thumb in barber school was you always want the top of his head to meet your chest. You know what I'm saying? You don't want it to be too low, his
Right.
head is down by your stomach, or too high.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? He's over you. You want it to be right at chest level. So, you know what I'm saying? Your arms can extend out and get to the proper areas that you need to.
And it's the same for cosmetology when we're doing blow dries, especially with the round brush technique. You definitely want them to be lower to the ground because then you can get that elevation and that big sexy hair that comes from using a round brush without your arms getting tired.
You know
Because
what?
like
We're gonna
they're
do a
supposed to be,
trade.
the idea is to be right here.
We're going to do a trade. One blade fade technique for the round brush technique.
Ooh,
Yes.
and I am a round brush queen.
Yeah.
Like I can do some round
Yeah.
brushing. Okay.
I'm a little versed in the round brush technique, you know what I'm saying? But I know, like, you can really put me on.
Oh, absolutely. Because I've learned some
have to extend that
serious.
trade a little bit more.
I've learned some
'Cause I'm
serious
gonna need
techniques.
some blow drying techniques too.
Okay. I could dedefinitely teach you some blow drying techniques because I love to finish hair. That is my
She
thing.
having it smoky.
Yeah, I do. I do have it smoky in the shop.
smoky in
Sometimes I do feel bad for y'all. Like, woo, I am
Nah,
really
we
just
cool,
blowing it
though.
down in
Yeah,
here.
it's cool, it's
Those
cool.
silk press days.
Yeah.
I just hope I don't have them like back to back to back one day
Yeah.
because then I feel sorry for you guys. You're going to have to open the
That's cool.
door.
It'd be
Sorry, right? But
know
you
what
want
it's
that steam. You want it. That's the water coming off of the hair. Like I'll teach you these things.
Yeah,
This is so
man.
good. I'm so glad that I get to teach you how to finish hair because it's
Yeah,
one of
yeah.
my favorite
No,
things.
I know some. You know what? Let's leave it at that. Teach me how to finish some hair.
Okay, I'm gonna teach you some blow dry techniques. I'm gonna teach you what different brushes do. Okay, I'm here for this because I love to blow dry hair. I can do it all day.
Once I learn this, it's over.
It really is though. Once you learn the round brush, it really is over. You could do female hair.
Because I use the round brush technique to get like pompadours. You know what I'm saying? I know those like round brush techniques, but like,
Right.
for really longer hair, and there's just the way you lay it down. It's just so dope, man. Like when you
appreciate
scoop
that.
it up and just keep that position and then like, yo,
I appreciate that.
it's official.
Take like a tiny mini afro and to like whoosh.
Yeah.
I love it because it's like shrinkage is so real, especially, and I even do it, on guys when I have to braid their hair because
Right.
they want to see the length.
And that's where I see it. Like I see you do a lot of the braids, and you're getting their hair prepped for it. And I'm like, yo, she's really taking this guy's afro and making it look like a straight hair.
Right. Yes, you have to because otherwise, it just makes the style look better. It's a good prep, and that's why a lot of stylists or braiders, I should say, a lot of braiders always have their clients come up with their hair blown out, or they're charging them extra because there's a specific way it needs to be blown out in order for it to look good.
Yeah, I had a stylist or braider who worked here before, and she was adamant on having your hair blown out before. Adamant. She's
Yes.
like, I will charge you extra.
Yes, because it is hard work, and I do charge extra to blow dry hair because I mean it's considered a different service, and a lot of people have issues with that sometimes. I don't require you to come washed, but it is a different price if you don't come washed and prepped for a
I
braiding.
mean, that should be expected.
Right, exactly. It's a washing and blow dry is a different
Yeah,
service.
you want
So
extra cheese, you gonna pay for
yes,
that.
exactly. So to expect that somebody's gonna do that for free makes no sense.
Yeah.
Honestly, I've never been on board with that. I think that's just a client going to their cousin too long, and you go to a professional and you're like, "What? I gotta pay for this, 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 this."
Yeah.
Yes, this is what I do for a living, ma'am. So
So
nothing
there
is
you
free.
have it. We are trading info. I'm going to learn the round brush technique, guys.
This is gonna be hilarious, and I am going to learn this one blade fade.
So I have an interesting concept.
Listen.
We are all barbers and stylists out here, right? And you know what I'm saying? We like to live our lives just like everybody else lives their lives.
Naturally.
You know what I'm saying? We have fun. We have bad times. We fall in love.
Oh, okay.
You know what I'm saying?
I'm not like, ew, no.
But what type of relationship is ideal for a barber or stylist?
That's a very interesting question. I honestly think it depends on the barber or stylist, because you do have some barbers and stylists that like for their home life to be completely separate from their barber and stylist life, and then I also think that they are the type of people who are very strict about their business hours. They're not going past this time. They're not, going past this time on weekends. They can't do this last minute. They can't do that last minute. They're pretty set in their ways. And I think that maybe a regular, type of relationship is ideal for them because they make the space.
Okay.
And they can be, more family oriented that way. And then you have people like me who are just kind of like, I love it. I don't really care about time because I'm always up and it's but a construct to me anyway. And also, like, I don't have those obligations. Like, I don't have kids or anything that requires me to be home by a specific time unless I plan it ahead of time. So for me, I think I might need somebody that's a little bit more flexible. I do need somebody that's able to just kind of do something in the middle of the day. Like somebody doesn't have that type of 9 to 5 where it's like they're occupied,
Right.
because a lot of times I am not. I make my own schedule.
Exactly.
So if I don't want to go in and I want to go do something fun, I would like that person to be available at that time.
Yeah.
But people do have weird days off. Like a lot of people have like Tuesdays and stuff like that off when they have 9 to 5s. So I do try to work with
You know
them.
what's the funny part about that? As a barber, that was my day off.
Oh, Tuesday?
Tuesday.
Yes, Mondays and Tuesdays are usually like the go-to days to be off because they're slower.
Yeah.
And our weekends are usually packed crazy.
Right.
So we don't usually get weekends off unless we really want to take the weekend off, honestly. Because I will be like, no, I'm not available. If I really feel that way. That's what I do like about a booth rental dynamic is that I make my own schedule. But ideally, I do like to be here on the weekends.
Yeah.
And for somebody that's off on the weekends, it could just kind of be a little bit weird because I don't see myself taking every single weekend off. So I do want somebody with like, that type of schedule where it's like it's flexible. You got random days off. Maybe I need somebody who is also their own boss. Just for the simple fact that I'm spontaneous in that
That's
way.
an interesting concept, which sort of made me bring up that idea. It's like I want somebody who can understand the flexibility of my business
Yes.
and understand that not all times are great times, and that's just business in general.
Right.
But I feel like a lot of people can get so accustomed to the 9 to 5 aspect of working that when they're introduced to somebody who's in an entrepreneurship type field, barber, stylist, whatever, so have you, that it's sort of like it's like it leaves a disdain almost.
Yeah, that's very true.
You know what I'm
It's like,
saying?
you always busy.
Yeah, you're
or-
always busy, or you're not
you be
available
like
on
ships
these
passing
certain
in the
times.
night.
Yeah.
And honestly, I feel like I get those a lot from people who are unwilling to compromise, to
Right.
be honest. Because it's like, I mean, that's not necessarily true, but if like I can be available, but it's just a simple fact of you gotta plan things with me. Then I'm spontaneous, yes, but at the same time, it's like I'm getting to the point where I'm booked out, at least a week or two.
Right.
So I can kind of
Right,
fit you
right,
in,
right.
but it's like, yeah, I still need a little bit of organization.
Hmm.
It can't just be something that you just pop up on me
Yeah,
like I didn't already, set aside this time for
yeah.
people. Although I can say I do a lot of canceling on people
Mm,
because, and I can say that's the old me. The
yeah.
new me now has a different outlook on doing hair and barbering and all my other endeavors.
Hmm.
But before, I just definitely was somebody that was about my bag, and I was like, "Hey, I love this. What I love to do, and if so and so is paying me to do this, then I'm gonna cancel something fun that
Mm.
I was gonna do because it's whatever."
Which brings up another concept. It's like we can be sometimes looked at as selfish or unavailable, you know what I'm saying? And that sort of leaves a bad taste, and I guess like whoever messing with us, their mouth. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? It leaves a bad taste in their mouth. And it's like, damn, I can't really get with this person because their schedule is so like in flux. It's like, how do I make time or get time
Right.
to involve myself with this person when they're so involved with their career?
Right, exactly. And to be honest, I can say that it is a little selfish because if I do commit myself to something ahead of time, it's like I followed the rules and I
Hmm.
scheduled it with you and you still canceled on
Right.
me. So it's kind of like I did have to check myself in that
Hmm.
aspect and just like, hey, you set aside this time, so just do it.
Yeah.
Just it's okay to be unavailable to your clients.
Right.
And I definitely needed to kind of create that boundary
Hmm.
because I was, man, at one point in time, people were calling me like 1 in the morning
Hmm.
sometimes and asking me questions and just to not come in,
Right.
and I was just like, nah, I'm not doing that
Hmm.
anymore. Like this is all whatever. If I'm awake and I'm available, then fine. But otherwise, I'm not gonna break my neck
Hmm.
to be available at this time.
It definitely made me want to schedule, have a proper scheduling for my business. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Be aware of how and when I'm scheduling
Exactly.
appointments and when I'm available for work. Um, I was very adamant about when I took my days off because that was the time that I wanted to spend with my family or
Right.
in my relationship or, you know what I'm saying, or to do anything, just alone time.
Right.
Because you can get so absorbed in business that you sort of forget about yourself, you know?
It's very true.
And I think that is also right for your relationship. You sort of forget about your relationship. Like I'm in a whole relationship. I have a family and everything, but yet I'm fucking binging on binging on work, and they sort of get lost in the source. And
Right.
I really had to buckle down and be like, you know what? This is how I'm going to do my business. This is how I'm going to handle my finances. This is just how I'm going to like organize my life, so it can be easier to deal with an individual like me. You know.
Agreed, and I think because your priorities are kind of shifting,
Mhm.
and for me, it's like I was single and I have a lot, going on. So
Mhm.
for me, I just was diving into my work because I had the time. It was like, what I'm interested in this, and I'm also interested in that,
Mhm.
and all of these things need energy and time to really grow and really become something.
Mhm.
So I was just focusing on that, and then after this, I'm gonna focus on the next thing
Mhm.
and the next thing, and then I look up and it's like, dang.
Yeah.
I have a oh shoot,
Mhm.
sorry, Blake's case in point.
Mhm.
But yeah, then I'm looking around and I'm like, oh man, I didn't have time to call so and so, or I haven't touched my phone in 3 hours, and people are like, you never text me back, and
Mhm.
blah blah blah. And it's not a matter of I don't want to, but those things just never seemed important to me.
Mhm.
And now I feel like my priorities are shifting a little, just from understanding just so much more about my
Mhm.
business and understanding that it's okay to get rest
Yeah.
and it's okay to, do things for fun.
Yeah. I sort of sometimes I've sort of felt like I was even like a bad friend. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
Like because I'm not available to do all the things that I want to do with my friends. You
Right.
know what I'm saying? It's just hard. And being in a relationship, trying to separate business from relationship, and then trying to separate business relationship from friendships, it's like it's just sort of hard to grab on to these different things and still maintain a leveled head towards keeping good business. You know what I'm saying?
I agree.
So I used to find myself staying out late nights, you know what I'm saying, because I would work all the way till about like 12 at night, you know what I'm
Facts.
saying, and then you see
That
somebody wanted
sounds
to
like
hang
me.
out, but then that would conflict with my relationship and me being home and available at a certain time, you know what I'm saying?
Ah.
It,
See
but
that I definitely ran
yeah,
into that in my past relationship, and I definitely had some reflection in it and understanding that maybe a lot of the times when I was saying like, "Oh, you tripping," it was like not completely unjustified,
Right.
because it was like I was kind of disregarding it,
Right.
like I sleep there, it's fine. It wasn't like something that I feel like I really need to dedicate time to, and especially with me being single, it's just a different shift. So for me, I have the time. If I'm up, it's just like, hey, you want to go out for a drink after this? Sure, I don't got nothing else to do.
Right.
But then, it just changes. Relationship wise, it's just kind of like, oh, well, nah, I'm good. I'm going to go home. I need to go home and see my man or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, it's all a matter of the difference, I guess, in priority for me. But now I don't really have those issues.
Yeah. So you think it's about really prioritizing your schedule and
I agree. Yeah, it's definitely about prioritizing your schedule and making time. But that just depends on your priorities now and what you hold the true value. Because for people who are, homebodies and they want to see their family and they want to be around them all the time, definitely make those time for them. But for people who have less obligations, hey, it's okay to get somebody that's, still in the swing of things and in the fast lane like you are. You can do that. You can find somebody that's as flexible as you are, that kind of has that same outlook on life that you do, and y'all could take random trips together, and you're not obligated to anything, so you can be more spontaneous. And I think that may be something that I'm more interested in, of like a quick vacation somewhere type thing.
so that was my next question. Like, what type of person uh, could you? What type of person is going to be able to deal with you? Is kind of shit, you know what I'm saying?
Oh, you're right. Oh, what's our person gonna be able to deal
Yeah,
with
what
me?
type of person is going to be able to deal with you?
It definitely has to be somebody with their own thing going on.
Yeah.
It definitely has to have somebody with their own projects, because I have a lot of projects. I have a lot going on. I have a lot of things that I'm working on, and passion wise, not even just with work, but just things that give me solace. And I think that if somebody is working on themselves to that same degree, there won't be a lot of pushback about me working on myself. And then I think someone that's spontaneous is good too, somebody that's flexible, because sometimes I am that type of person that was just like, hey, let's go on a trip somewhere. I feel like we've been working hard lately. I haven't seen you. Let's just kind of get away and figure it out, I think I like that.
I think from my experience, being in a relationship for about as long as I've been a barber, having somebody that was understanding to the type of work that I do, somebody who understands that it's not a regular orthodox type of work, so expect the unexpected. Um, Being able to be flexible, um, yeah, and I'm saying just being down, because I
Right.
realize that there's points in time in the barbering or stylist or entrepreneurship life that there's ups and downs, and a lot of times finances are not going to be coming in as avidly
Facts.
as it's supposed to. And those down times, you need somebody to really understand uh, what that dynamic is like, and I'm saying, not really hold that against you, because we know like a Monday or a Tuesday is not going to be as busy as say a Friday or Saturday.
Right.
So they have to sort of be understanding to those type of situations. But ultimately, just having someone who understands your type of business, that's like, to me, like the best aspect. That's the person that can deal with me and who has dealt with me. Yeah.
Okay, somebody that understands.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then for me, I mean, I guess I take understanding with actually being in that lifestyle. I don't know why I can't fathom somebody that doesn't work on themselves, or doesn't have that same drive as me to be able to resonate with
You know
me
what
or
it is?
have
That
empathy.
because I recognize that people are different, so I don't need someone to be like me.
Right.
It's the reason why I'm dealing with you is because you are you. You feel what I'm saying? And I'm me.
Like on opposites attract.
Exactly. But to understand me or anything is to love it. You know what I'm saying? To know something is to love it, right?
Facts.
So you know what my life is like. You understand what my life is like. Therefore, we can gel a little easier. So, because if you're understanding to my situation, it makes me feel like that I need to be understanding to the things that you need. You know what I'm saying? So
Right.
if it is that time that you need, you know what? In the back of my mind, I feel like I need to make that time because she understands my time.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And it just all
Actually,
meshes together.
yeah, that actually gives me a lot of insight.
Yeah.
Because I definitely am a person of convenience.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that sounds too hard. I don't want to get to know nobody different. No, I'm just
You know what I'm
playing.
saying? 'Cause
I don't feel like I can't say that I have a type when it comes to that. I don't
Yeah.
really don't need, and have not really even found somebody that's exactly like me.
Right.
But just in the sense of their work ethic,
Yeah.
like I just need them to put the same energy into themselves,
Right, right.
and
dig that.
understand.
I can dig
Yeah.
that, yeah.
Like I need someone that is an individual in the way that I'm an
Yeah.
individual.
Yeah.
It cannot be a codependency.
Yeah, yeah.
'Cause, yes, I need somebody that understands that I'm a whole person and you need to be a whole person. I'm not
Yes.
looking for anybody to complete me.
Yes.
I'm not looking for anybody to, add to or what I'm doing or
Yeah,
anything like
yeah,
that.
yeah.
I want to just be able to kind of bring two separate things
Yeah,
together.
yeah. That's the
That's what I like. I can't have
You know what I'm
the
saying?
symbiotic thing only because it's too. For me, I feel that the second the weight is off, the
Yeah.
second it's more on one person than the other, it can be a weird situation. But if
You're
it's
rocking the boat now.
right, exactly, and I think that it's kind of hard to say that it's always going to be 50-50.
Yeah.
That's really hard to say, and for that reason. That's why I don't think I'm looking for the other half. That I kind of am like, I'm completing myself.
Right.
I'm holding myself.
Right.
I understand what's going on in my life, and I'm good. Alone, completely alone if I have to be. But to have a partner that understands that and is bringing their wholeness and not their brokenness to the table,
Yeah.
because I do understand that some people are more healed than others, but it is their job to get healed. It's
Right.
not my job to heal them, because then you create that imbalance
Yeah.
and the symbiosis, and it's like no,
Yeah.
I need you to be your own person. I need you to understand that when I'm busy, it is not I don't need it contributing to any insecurities. I don't need it to be something that's in the back of your head, like, oh, you didn't do this because
Right.
you're busy, or you
Right,
didn't
right.
because you weren't home.
Right.
I need you to we need to have a mutual of understanding where it's like,
Understanding.
I'm home and you're not. So obviously, if something needs to be done at the house, I'm going to do it,
Right.
and vice versa. It's like I feel like people who are whole kind of understand those things more so than people who are looking for somebody to complete them, because
Right.
then you get the oh, well, that was your chore.
Right.
Oh, well, that was something you was supposed to
Yeah,
do, and
yeah.
you said that you were going to do.
Yeah.
We decided that shit 5 months ago.
Right,
Like,
right,
so
right.
much has changed, right? And I'm working on something different now, or whatever it is. It's like, don't quote me on that. Like, it wasn't a contract or no shit like
I
that.
definitely like to be a man of my word. If
Yeah.
I say that I'm going to do something, I like to really aim
Right.
to please. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, naturally, yeah. But I'm not saying, like, I'm going to say something and then not do it later. But it's
Yeah.
just kind of like, today I didn't have time,
Yeah,
or
100%.
whatever.
Like,
Things happen.
Yeah, things happen. Like
Right.
business happening. I
Right.
didn't do it out of like me just not wanting
Yeah,
to do it.
just not caring. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. I don't think I would ever do anything like that. Just like not give a fuck. But it is like for me a matter of priority. And things do come up. Sometimes I misschedule people. Sometimes it's just like I didn't know this person decided to come in early, and then it kind of favored my week to do them at that time, so I just got it out of the way.
Right.
Just things like that I feel like happen to me all the time. So I just need somebody that understands that.
Yes. And that's where I leave it. We need somebody who understands the type of business that we are in,
Right.
the type of people that we are. And I think in turn, that gives us the capability to feel that understanding for you. You know what I'm saying? If you're in a relationship with a barber, stylist, or entrepreneur,
Yes.
Definitely understand us. And it just,
I agree.
for me, it gives me the feeling that, I should definitely take time out to understand you as an individual. Like Coco said, let's, what I'm saying, everybody be self-sufficient so we can come
Facts.
together as one and make this whole thing work.
Exactly.
We don't need nobody being too dependent on anybody else. You know
Right.
what I'm saying, everybody's their own man and woman.
Yes.
We're all capable out here.
And I feel like, especially in the startup phase
Yes.
of barber entrepreneurship and stylist entrepreneurship,
Man,
that support is very important.
very
Because
important.
if on top of, me having a slow week and
Right.
I'm not getting the clients I'm supposed to have and
Right.
things just aren't going as perfect as they should be at work,
Right.
I definitely do not need home to be
Right.
just as chaotic.
Exactly.
That sounds terrible.
Don't be out there abusing your spouse because they're not bringing in enough money, or
Right.
you feel
It
like
takes
they're not
time.
working hard enough.
Right.
Man, it can get bad because of that.
That's true. I mean, sometimes though, that can be the case where somebody is not actually putting the energy that they need to.
Yeah.
But hey, that's a results may vary type of thing. Yeah, hopefully you know who you with.
Right.
And you know where to give them the motivation
Exactly.
and where to kind of give them.
Know who you're with,
Right.
so you know what I'm saying. If they're
Yeah.
putting in that ethic.
Exactly. And it's like, yeah, you definitely know like when you need to give them motivation and when they just need a slap awake.
Right.
So hopefully you use that information and those powers appropriately.
Yeah. And this is Barber Code.
Yes. The Barber Love Code, right?
We appreciate y'all stopping by, listening to us, joining the conversation. I am your boy Z the Barber,
And I'm your girl Coco.
and we appreciate you guys.
No step.
Peace.
What's up, everybody? It's your boy Z the Barber here from Barber Code, and if you're feeling our content, please hit that subscribe button below.
And make sure you hit that bell too so you know when we drop in our next vid. And if you have any suggestions or comments, make sure you drop that in the chat below.